Hi, everyone. I'm Beth Helberg, the Director of Events for NAFA Texas, and I'm so happy to welcome you all to the NAFA Texas virtual event, Tech to Connect with Video, Building and Maintaining Meaningful and Profitable Relationships in an On-Screen World. I would like to introduce our presenter, Julie Holmes. After spending 20 years creating products in enterprise technology, our guest today traded in her corporate cubicle to become an inventor and social entrepreneur. Today, she travels the world helping people think like inventors and showing organizations, small and large, how to tech their business to the next level. Julie recently spoke at the NAFA Texas 2020 State Conference and was massively popular. We are so grateful to have her back. She's been busy overthinking things so you don't have to. Joining us all the way from Denver, Colorado via the internet, please welcome Julie Holmes.
Hey, hello, hi,
Yay, Julie.
everybody. Hello, it is such a joy to be back with NAFA Texas. How are y'all doing down there? Y'all doing all right? I'm so glad to be with you all again, and I thank you so much, Beth, for inviting me to come and share with your group again. It is such a pleasure to work with you. So what I wanted to talk about today and what I thought would be most beneficial for us is about tech to connect with video. We are in a new world order at the moment, and there is a lot happening. And if you are not connecting with your clients on video, you are missing a massive opportunity. But I realize that that can be a little bit daunting. So today I've put together a program specifically for you to talk about some of the different ways that we can be connecting with clients online and some of the tools and strategies that you can be using to do that. Now, let's talk a little bit about kind of the layout of this virtual experience. So what you're going to have is you will have a Zoom webinar chat box. So everybody get a hold of your chat box. Sounds weird. Everybody grab your chat screen because I want this to be as interactive as possible. Now, if at any point during this, you are all muted, so we can't hear you. But if at any point during this you have a question, then you can do one of two things. You can raise your hand. There's a virtual hand raising option. You can also put a question in the Q&A panel, which Beth has kindly agreed to moderate and monitor. And finally, you can put questions and comments into the chat dialogue. And that's actually one of the things that we're going to do because I have some survey questions for you. And I want to get some great feedback and make this as interactive as possible. So we are going to be talking about tech to connect. But before we get too much into the video, I have a very important first question for all of you. And that question is, do you think that you should be using video with your clients? So everybody take a minute, grab that webinar chat window and just go ahead and put in a chat. If you have a question that you would like to be asked to me later, or if you have a question like this is an actual question for Julie, then put it in Q&A because Beth's gonna monitor that and she's gonna ask those out loud. For the chat, that's kind of our little dialogue box. So do you think that you should be using video with your clients today? Go ahead and drop a message. I can see Chris is saying, yes, we should. Steven's agreeing. Scott says video is great. How right you are, Scott. Same thing with Rebecca and Kristen. We've got lots of yeses. Oh, I like Mike. Very good. You're right. Yes, but it does depend on the circumstances. And we're going to talk about some of that later. So is there anyone who isn't 100% sure? If you're like, I think I should be using video, but I'm not sure, feel free to put in, I don't know, in the chat box, because we're going to talk about why and when video is appropriate and what are some of the tools that you can use for it. So great. So there you go. There's Carlos, I think you've made an excellent point, by the way. They need us, especially now, to put them at ease and to let them know that we're here for them, their friends and family. Carlos, I couldn't have said it better myself, so I won't. Everybody, that was Carlos. You are 100% correct. So when we talk about using video with your clients, there's a lot of different areas and ways that we can improve the way that we interact with video. So what we're going to do is cover 3 main areas today. We're going to talk a little bit about why video is important so that you'll understand what we're trying to achieve with it. Then I'm going to cover off some video ingredients. These are going to be the ingredients that we can use to make our videos and our video interactions even more compelling and powerful and meaningful. And finally, I'm going to share with you some cool apps and tools that you can use in order to deliver a better video experience. Perfect. Let's get started. Okay, first of all, for those of you that saw me speak at the NAFA Texas event, you'll know I love a good QR code, and a QR code is just a great way of sharing technology with you and getting you to the right place. So if you look on your screen right now, you will see that I've put a QR code. If you don't know how to use a QR code, allow me to explain. If you go into an iPhone, if you have an iPhone, just open up your camera app. And when your camera is open, just point it at this QR code on the screen. You don't have to take a picture. You're actually just going to point it at the screen. You'll get a little link that pops up at the top. And then if you are using an Android device, you don't have a built-in QR code reader. If you have a QR code reader, you can use it. Otherwise, I've included the link below so that you can actually type that in. So in the chat box, if anybody's been able to use that QR code successfully, go ahead and chat in there. What did you find at the end of that QR code? Where did it take you? Let's see if a few people found our QR code. Oh, good, good. I can see some of you have gotten that link to work. Perfect. Oh my gosh, you're absolutely right. It took you to your LinkedIn profile. And in that LinkedIn profile, you will see me. That's my LinkedIn profile. How weird is that it took you there? Well, listen, while you're there, why don't you go ahead and connect with me? You know, because that's a good test. So now we are connected on LinkedIn. And now you know how to use a QR code, or you can type in that link. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate you connecting with me. Perfect. Let's keep going. So let's talk about why video is important. Now, one of the things that people tend to get hung up about when it comes to being on video is that they don't like to see themselves on video. So are you like, oh, I'd rather not. Oh, this is just awful. I hate to see myself on video. But the most important thing, and if you walk away with nothing else from this webinar, here's what I want you to remember. Being on video isn't for you. That would be called a mirror. So if you wanted to go on video so that you could look at yourself and think how gorgeous you are, then you could just go and look in the mirror. Being on video is about the person on the other end. It's about giving us a way to connect with them powerfully and in order to create stronger and better relationships. So everything when it comes to video is not about you. It's about them. So please take that as your one big takeaway. This is not about you. It's about serving your clients better. And if there's one thing that I learned during working with NAFA Texas, it's that you all love your clients. And I think that is absolutely brilliant. And so that's why video is going to be a great tool for you. So there are 3 components that make up messages that matter. And we're not going to talk about these at length. This is a great program, and anybody who thinks that this might be a valuable program for your group, do let me know. But at a high level, I just want you to understand that the most compelling messages are ones that have a dimensionality to them, meaning that they cover off more from an experience perspective. Now, I'm pretty sure that I can safely say that none of you have gotten a nice, big, long, juicy email in your inbox and gotten really excited about it. I'm pretty sure that you didn't open up your inbox and be like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking, how could I get a big, long email today? I would love a big, long text, white and black email today. Nobody says that. So we know that if you go to a movie theater, that is a more engaging experience because we get sound and we get the visuals and we get to smell the popcorn and we get to put our feet up on these awesome movie seat recliners. And now we are creating a multi-dimensional experience. In addition to that, the most compelling messages have immediacy, meaning that they are real-time, interactive, and they're immersive. We are part of the experience. And finally, we know that the third component of messages that matter is that they are relevant. They are relevant to the person who is receiving them. And that is why one-on-one communication, where we are personalizing a chat with somebody, is so powerful. In addition to that, they are curated, meaning that they are talking about things that we care about, and they are human. And human is one of the most important things that we should all be focused on right now. We are at a massive turning point in the world today. And the way that we do business is not going to be the same in 1 month's time as it was 1 month ago, because we have suddenly been exposed to everybody as humans. We have seen kids walk behind video cameras and cats walk in front of screens. And we have seen things hanging from closet doors behind us. And we have heard dogs barking, and we have been forced to remember and acknowledge that people are real life human beings and that we all have lives outside of our typical office space. So that's going to change things. And at the intersection of these three things is what we really want to deliver, which is great video. And the reason that Tech to Connect is so powerful is because it allows us to scale, and it allows us to connect even when we can't be physically present. And that is vitally important right now, as I'm sure you will all agree. Okay, so if we know that we need to create video, here's why. 1, trust. Video leverages one of the most important concepts in communication. And I'm really lucky and spoiled because my master's degree is in communication, and I've always been fascinated by what it is that makes communication so engaging and powerful. And one of those is its ability to create trust. There's been a number of studies done, and they are fantastic, around this idea called mere exposure. And mere exposure says the more someone sees you, the more they will know, like, and trust you. You don't have to say anything to them. Just exposing your face to them and letting them see your face helps to build that trust. One of the other major impacting factors of trust is that in order to create trust, one of the fundamental attributes is that we have to believe people are going to be there for us in good times and bad times. And it is in those moments where we determine whether someone is a reliable resource for us. So if you aren't actively talking to your clients right now, you're missing an opportunity to grow your trust. Video is going to help you do that powerfully. All right. We know there's trust. Of course, the next thing is connection. Connection is our ability to create meaningful relationships with someone else. Dear sir or madam isn't going to cut it anymore. We need to be recognizing that these are people that have real attributes and real challenges happening right now. And that's why this third component, which is around authenticity, means that we get to talk to them like real life people. We get that everybody is struggling in some way right now, whether they're struggling because they're trying to find toilet paper, or whether they're struggling because they have friends or family members who are currently experiencing COVID-19. Either way, we know that everyone is having some degree of challenge at the moment, and this is our opportunity to be authentic with them, to share ourselves, and to ask them to do the same in return. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, so let's take another quick little chat box poll. I would love to know how you are using video today with your clients. Are you making generic videos, nice, fancy marketing videos that you send out? Hi, it's a day in the office. Let me talk to you about our day in the office. Or are you doing video voicemails? Are you sending them video chats? Are you texting them with video? What are you doing with video today? Okay, so I'm getting a couple people that are saying not using video at all today. How many of you have been getting videos? Has anybody been receiving videos? Go ahead and throw that into the chat box. Okay, so a few people were using Zoom for video calls. We're having Zoom meetings. And are those happening primarily internally or externally? So this is one of the things that we seem to come across quite a bit when I'm working with clients is they'll say, oh yeah, we use Zoom internally. And then I'll ask, well, how are you using that with your clients one-on-one? And they're not. So, whether you're using some kind of a meeting platform or whether you're using some kind of video chat, that's a great strategy. So if you are not using video, we know that everybody said, yes, we should be using video. Now let's talk about how you can make those videos more compelling. And I'm glad to see so many of you are using Zoom internally and externally. And let's talk about even more options for that. Okay, so let's talk about video ingredients. If you're gonna put your face on a video camera, let's do our very best to make it look good. So first of all, it's lights. Now, I actually have some of the most amazing light in my office, and hopefully you can all see that. Hold on, let me just make sure I'm getting my close up. But that lighting is au naturel. I actually have a window in front of my computer. So I am facing a window, and that is the very best lighting that you can get, assuming that it's sunny outside or that it's nice outside. That's the most amazing light that you can get, is a window in front of you, for a couple of reasons. One, because that window is actually going to have the sun casting down on you, which is really what we want. We want light coming from up above and heading down toward our face. Now, in addition to my window, I do have a couple of ring lights, which is what you'll see in the next image. And those ring lights enable me, even on days when it's cloudy, to be able to get enough light coming in. And I also have lights around my office. Overhead lighting is really challenging and not very flattering. In a perfect world, you really want to have that light slightly up above your head so that when it casts down, you'll get this chin. Now, I don't know if the rest of you have a few extra chins like I do, but I got a couple bonus chins, in my 40s. And so consequently, I like to use lighting to help minimize that on video. So if you've got a couple of extra chins, that is one of the things that you can do, is to just make sure that your lighting is in a perfect place. Finally, the last option that you have for improving your lighting situation is just in your settings. Now, if you're working on a MacBook Pro or Mac Air, there's a great app called Webcam Settings. And in that webcam settings, which you can download from the App Store, that actually has some settings that you can use on any of your cameras. And those settings include things like controlling your zoom. That means that somebody like me can zoom in so that you think my office is really tidy and neat, when in reality, it's just you're seeing a little tiny slice of my office. But you can also control things like your lighting. So if it's particularly dark in your room, you can increase the exposure so that you get more light. You can often do things like white balance, and you can even control your focus. Now, if you have a Logitech webcam, which is what many people have, or any of the other more advanced webcams, chances are they came with some type of a settings app as well. So take a minute and get to know your webcam or the tools that you have available to customize the settings associated with it. So the webcam app on Mac is called Webcam Settings, and you can just search for that in the App Store. If you use a Windows PC, then almost every professional webcam that you might buy, or every third-party webcam that you might buy, will come with its own webcam settings, like Logitech. It's just that some of those webcams don't work as well on a Mac, so Mac has its own webcam settings app. Okay, and then we talk, there's also this question somebody had mentioned about video compliance. Compliance is a hassle because you are a broker or a dealer. And that is true. So you want to make sure that you're just careful about what those messages are. One thing that you can do, though, is you can reach out and just connect with clients. So don't let compliance stop you from just calling someone and saying, hi, I just wanted to see how you're doing. So do be aware of compliance issues, and there are all kinds of security protocols and things like that that you can put in place as well. Perfect, let's keep going. So beyond lighting, we have our cameras. Now, most of us have some type of a web camera, or we have a built-in camera on our laptop, which is great. And most of those cameras are really good now. So you don't necessarily need to go out and get some fancy webcam, but let me tell you a couple of things that you can do. Now, first and foremost, I think people can be kind of uncomfortable with cameras. So let's do a quick poll here in our Zoom webinar chat. And just tell me, like on a scale of eek to, oh yeah, how do you feel about being on camera? Are you comfortable being on video? So like, you know, let's say a 1 is like, oh, I would rather not. This is awful. Eek, eek, eek. And 5 is like, sign me up. I should have been a movie star. What do you think? Are you like a 1, like, I don't want anything to do with that? Or are you like a 5? This is amazing. Perfect. We've got a bunch of 3s. I love Stephen is to be determined. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. There's a lot of people that are like, so, I don't really like it, but I'll do it because I know that it's important. And that is really what we typically see, right? So most people are, and especially now, they're like, I don't have a choice. This is the only way that I can interact with people right now. And so I'm going to put my face on the camera and we're going to go with it. Well, let me tell you a couple things that you can do that will help that to be a more comfortable experience and to give a better experience to the people on the other end of that camera. So here's 2 easy camera improvements. Now, the first one is, and this is the one that I see most often, and that is that our cameras really need to be at eye height or just a little bit above. Now, I'm going to take my webcam down off my computer. You're going to see. So this is what we often see when we are on a web meeting. We see up somebody's nose, and that's not very flattering. And then, of course, you know, we have to hold our chins in just a little bit. So you can see just the simple difference of being able to have our webcam at eye height drastically changes the way that we appear on camera. And frankly, it's a darn sight more flattering. So if you don't like to see yourself on camera, it's usually because you're looking at yourself from a terrible angle. And so is everybody else. So get your camera up a bit. And let's be realistic. I know you have a stack of business books at home that you've been meaning to read but haven't gotten to. This is finally the perfect time to use that stack of business books. You can stack those up and put your laptop right on top of it while you're on that web call. The second thing that you can do is you can correct where you're looking. Now, when we have a web meeting, we have everybody's picture in front of us. And here's what we tend to do. We tend to look at everyone on the screen when we're talking to them. And I'll say, oh, look, there's the height right there. Oh, look, there I am. Oh, look, there's somebody else. But what does that look like to everybody on the other end of the call? We think that we're looking them in the eye, but that's not really where their eye is. So who we need to be looking at or where we need to be looking is actually right at the camera lens. I get it. That's weird. You're weird. It's weird talking to yourself in a camera lens. So here's a quick tip. Take something, a picture of somebody or something that you really like, or even just a Post-it note with a big fat arrow on it that says, look here. Put that on your webcam because that is where you want to look to give people on the other end the most positive experience, particularly your clients. You know that if you were to meet that client in person, you would look them in the eye. You need to challenge yourself to do the same thing on video. So practice looking them in the eye by looking at that camera lens. It does feel weird at the beginning, I promise, but I also promise that it won't always feel quite so weird. And it creates such a better experience for them. Okay, then we have our sound. Now, people will tolerate a blurry video, they'll tolerate a homemade video on your phone, but what they won't tolerate is bad sound. So here are 3 easy audio improvements that you can do. First up, get a microphone. It can be your headphones from your phone. It can be a proper freestanding microphone like mine. This is what I use when I'm at my desk. It can be a lavalier mic that just plugs into an auxiliary jack. It could even be it can even be a Hey mic. And Hey mic, I would be remiss if I didn't say, Hey mic is my baby. That's one of my inventions. And Hey mic is a Bluetooth microphone that connects to smartphones and computers using Bluetooth technology that allows you to have no cable between you and the computer or you and your phone when you're recording or when you're sending video messages. So that's another option, is to use a Bluetooth microphone like Hey mic. Second thing, oh my gosh, mute. It's the most amazing and surprisingly underused button in web meetings today. Mute. Make sure that you're muted. Now, just remember that if you're hosting meetings, you can control whether people enter the meeting on mute. So when in doubt, mute. I loved seeing a funny meme the other day that said that mute, not using your mute button is like the reply all of today. So you're just creating a lot of noise. So when you're not speaking, press mute. For those of you that use Zoom, here's a quick fun tip for you. When you're in a Zoom meeting and you're muted, if you just press and hold your space bar on your keyboard, that will unmute you. And then when you let go, it'll return you right back to mute. So that's a great way to leverage mute in Zoom in order to press your space bar, say something, let go of the space bar, and then you are muted again. It's perfect. The third big tip I'll give you is to grab yourself an on-air sign. Okay, I cannot be the only person that has had people walk in behind them, or the dog walk in, turn around, stretch, or proceed to give themselves a very hard to watch bath while you're on a conference call. So I think it's a great idea to have an on-air sign. This is what we used to do in the days of radio when I was a radio DJ, and we could put that on our door, or we could put that in the hallway on a little stand. And it's a reminder to everyone in our families and in our homes right now that, you know what, I'm on the air. So don't walk past here without your shirt on, husband of mine. Not saying that's ever happened, just that one time. So, keep in mind that you want to let people know that you're on air. And of course, I feel sorry for you, Adam, because yes, I know what it means when you have a child that does not respect the sign. But still, we're going to give it our very best try. Okay, now the last component in how we can improve our videos is around action and engagement. And just as a little laugh, this is, of course, Sherlock Holmes being filmed. You get it, Julie Holmes, Sherlock Holmes. That was just for me. Okay, so here's the two things that I'll offer you in terms of action and engagement when you're on video, on a video conference specifically. The first one is to fix your face. Now, we think that if we were sitting there and we have 5 people in the room, that when we're just watching other people talk, we kind of do this number. Well, that's not very engaging. So here's the thing. People might be listening to one person speak, but your face is on the screen as well. So keep in mind that even when you're not talking, you are on camera. So make sure that you look engaged and that you're smiling and that you are focusing on the people that are speaking. We all know that it's hard and uncomfortable to be on video. So this is our opportunity to give back to those people by giving them our support. If you wouldn't do it in a regular meeting, sitting in a room with a bunch of people, don't do it on camera. And even if you would do it in a regular meeting, sitting with all of your colleagues, still don't do it on camera. Okay, the second thing I'll offer is to give more. Now, hopefully, I'm not the only person who's a woman of a certain age on this call, but if you look at the picture on the right, hopefully you will recognize this star, and this star is all about giving more. When we talk about giving more and turning off our phones, when we talk about giving more, we're really talking about making sure that this is like a ripple effect. And this ripple effect says that I have to give 50% more when I am presenting than I want to get from everybody else in the audience. And that's true on video. So be engaged, be enthusiastic, because a lot of that energy gets lost in its journey out to the people who are watching. So don't be afraid to give it a little more oomph. Let's be honest, if this was a conference call and I was just talking like this the whole time, and I was saying we've got a few more things that we have to, just do here, then, that's boring. So, put your best foot forward. And then there we go. There was a question here from Adam about, do you ever turn the camera off if you have to get up or just have to unengage from a group video call? Absolutely. In fact, that's probably the better course of action, is to actually turn off your webcam or to turn off your video if you have to get up and leave. It's very disconcerting for someone to see an empty chair on the other end of your video. So if you have to get up and leave, just make sure that you've got a nice video profile photo. And, you know, that's fine. It's just the way of it, right? And besides that, we all know we're at home juggling kids and pets and dogs and neighbors and whatever else is happening. So we know that that's happening. Okay, so let's talk about video tools. There are 4 ways that we can interact with our clients and colleagues on video: video conversations, video chat, video voicemail, and video presentations. We're going to talk about each one of these, and then we're going to get into some tools and tips and tricks. So first up, you have video conversations. This is basically real-time chat on video. This is what you would get if you were doing FaceTiming, for example. Now, the pros of this, of course, is that it's real-time interactivity and it's really engaging. It's hard for people to disconnect when it's just me and you on a video chat. We can also do video Zoom meetings, for example. You know, we have a Zoom room. And if anybody wants more information about how to set up your Zoom room, and for example, if somebody wanted to join me in a meeting, I would just say, go to juliezoom.com. I have a specific domain. It points directly to my meeting room. And it's a great way to give the experience of step into my office, but it's a video office. So that's 2 things that you can do right there, just from a video conversation perspective. Now, people aren't always camera ready, and the general rule of thumb is that if you can't text someone, then you're definitely not going to FaceTime them. So there you go. That's kind of your draw the line in the sand. Okay, then we have video chat. Now, video chat is like texting, but better. And it's basically recording a video and sending it over an immediate mechanism, over an immediate app, like texting. So with those types of situations, you know, this is something that's great for engaging because people get those as notifications, and we love to get messages. So a text message, I use an app called Marco Polo. Is a great practice app. If you're not accustomed to sending personal video messages, then Marco Polo is a great choice. And if you scan this QR code on the screen for Marco Polo, it will actually take you to my Marco Polo. So you can connect with me on Marco Polo, send me a sample message, or drop me a quick video on Marco Polo, and I will reply. It takes a little bit of practice to learn to talk to yourself in a camera. Marco Polo is a great tool to practice with. Now, these video chats are great because they are driven by notifications, so people are going to pop them up. People also don't feel like they have to be super polished. A video chat is quick and easy. The drawbacks, of course, is that, you know, it's delayed, meaning that I have to wait for people to reply to me, and that I have to have the right kind of relationship to be sending people those types of text messages with videos. Now, the rule of thumb is if you are already texting with your client, go ahead and send them a video voicemail or video text message. That's absolutely fine. It's actually considered nowadays to just be a really fast way to communicate. We would all rather just hear the message from somebody than read the message in an email. Okay, moving right along, we've got video voicemail. This is what it would look like if email and video had a baby together. It's awesome. Now, video voicemail is actually one of my favorite tools. And the reason for it is it allows me to create video at scale. So with video at scale, what I'm really doing is I'm recording a video, and I can either record that on my phone or on my computer. I can even record it directly in an app, like Dub is the one that I use, or BombBomb might be one you've heard of, or Loom. And what that does is now I've got that, I can embed that video, a link to that video, into an email. So people are still getting it as email, but when they get that email message, they're going to get a video link that they can click on to watch the video. Now, the best part about this is that they've really thought about the analytics and the engagement of video voicemail. And so what that looks like is when I copy one of my Dub videos into an email, it actually copies an animated GIF, an animated image. And basically, it's an image of me doing something like this. That was me acting like a GIF just then. And so what that does is it creates an immense amount of curiosity. People can't wait to click on it. So that's an awesome choice for you. Plus, it's still really novel. People haven't seen a lot of video voicemail, a lot of video in their email. So you can still be at the front of this curve and be connecting powerfully. Now, from a sales and marketing perspective, and even from a client support perspective, it also gives you unbelievable analytics. I can tell exactly when somebody has watched my video. It'll even notify me that they've watched my video, and I can see, did they watch all the way through or did they just watch the first 30 seconds? Plus, I can put calls to action on. So I can say, click here, and then I can give them a message and say, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to our appointment. Hey, I need you to reschedule that, by the way. There's a link right below this message. Can you please reschedule our call? They'll click on the link. I can even put a link that says reply with video. So I can encourage them to give me that same kind of video experience back. Now, just like all email messages, this bad boy can just end up kind of, wasting away in someone's email. But those animated messages, and when they know that they're specific to them, that's amazing. And they will click on it. So I get some of my best response rates through things like my dub videos. So here are 2 QR codes that you can use. Question about which one do I recommend? So I recommend dub because that's the one that I use, and I particularly like its ability to have calls to action in it, and I can fully brand it. So that's really important to me as well, because if I'm using it for business, I want it to be branded. Loom is great because it has a really nice free plan. So if you're just getting started, you can use Loom for that. And then BombBomb is good as well. It's a more expensive tool, and I find that it didn't add enough to justify the additional cost. So my recommendation is Dub. All right, and then of course, last but not least, we have webinars and video platforms, a la our web meeting today. And in this case, we're really talking about we can put them onto YouTube, for example, and the real benefit is that they live well beyond their recording date. So these can be recorded, they can be shared, they are often searchable once we put them on the internet. And of course, while it's great and I can scale and reach loads of people, they are not very personal. And so that's always kind of the downside of these different various tools. So people can feel a little bit disconnected. It means we have to work twice as hard. And I hope you're all experiencing that right now. We have to work twice as hard to be great on webinars. So webinars are not easy for everybody. And you would be surprised how much doing a webinar is like the days when I was on radio. Imagine having to be in a radio booth all by yourself and sound like you're having the time of your life. That's exactly what these webinars are like, and these types of video recordings. So make sure that you've really thought that through and you've got a plan for it. Okay, let's talk tools. So we've got a few minutes left, and I want to make sure that I give you plenty of cool tools, tips, and tech that you can use to make your videos amazing. So first and foremost, if you have an iPhone or an iOS device, I just wanted to introduce you to my favorite video editing app. And that's an app called Videorama. And it's just a super easy app that I can use to combine images and videos. I can put my logo on top of my videos. And then once I've created that video, I can save it. I can put it on YouTube. I can do whatever I want with it. So that's an app called Videorama, and that is just on the iPhone. There are a number of video editing apps for Android as well. So do a search for those and you'll find some great examples. Then we also have video capture. Now we all have a video recorder on our phone, but that isn't always the most flexible tool. So I recommend getting something like Filmic Pro. And Filmic Pro is a great tool because it creates, it's an alternative to your standard video recorder on your phone. And what it does is it allows you to control things like your lighting, or it allows you to control your focus or your zoom. It even allows you to control the size of the video that you're creating. So if you're gonna make videos, use a proper video camera. Here's a link down in the bottom left-hand corner to Hey Mike. Hey Mike is that Bluetooth microphone that I invented, and it is a wireless Bluetooth microphone that you can use with your computers or your mobile phones. We currently have, we've lowered the price on it to help all of the content creators and educators out there who are trying to connect during the COVID-19 crisis. So please feel free to support the business that way. And then one of my favorite tools is in the bottom right-hand corner, which is called Magisto. And Magisto is a video generation tool. So with Magisto, I can take videos and I can take images and I can put them all together in Magisto, and it uses artificial intelligence to create a well-formatted, incredibly animated video that I can share with people. So if you're wondering of an easy way to get connected with your clients, try this. Have everybody in your team, everybody who's normally in your office, they're all at home, have them all shoot some pictures and some videos, and just make a Magisto video that is, this is what our office is doing during quarantine. And that kind of gives everybody a chance to have a little bit of fun, and it will help you to create a great, fun memory. Okay, what is the link to your site which addresses setting up meeting rooms in Zooms? I will send that out afterwards, so stay tuned for that, Lynn, and I will add something. In fact, I'll make you a video. I'll make a video of how to do that, and I will add it to your bonus content. So that'll be out probably tomorrow morning then. All right, then we've got a quick recap. We've talked about why video and video ingredients and video tools, which are fantastic. And so what's your plan? So we've talked about a whole bunch of different tools and tips and tricks and everything else. So take a minute and put into the chat box, what is one thing that you're gonna try and do after having enjoyed this amazing virtual presentation experience? Tell me one thing that you are committing to doing. Are you going to rearrange your office or your table so that you can get some better lighting for your videos? Are you going to do some research about what you should have around you? Are you going to send some messages or do some video chats? What is it that you're going to do? Oh, nice. News is rearranging things as they watch. Let's see. Any suggestions on how to control backgrounds? Okay, green screen is a question I get asked a lot. Now, green screen is quite a personal, it's kind of a personal item. I would say that as a general rule, unless you have really great green screen technology available to you, and by that I mean you have to have a full-size green screen behind you. There's pop-up green screens, which are amazing. And I have one as well for my video kit. So you can have pop-up green screen. You have to have really good lighting to use green screen. And if you're going to do that, just make sure that you're looking at new camera options, not cameras themselves, but camera technology like ManyCam. So ManyCam is an app, M-A-N-Y-C-A-M. ManyCam is an app that has some advanced green screen technology in it. Zoom has good green screen too, but it can be distracting for people because we see, you know, parts of your face get lost when you turn your head and things like that. My recommendation for backgrounds is just back yourself up to a wall if you need to. It'd be easier to have people have a wall behind you than it would be, you know, to have a green screen on. So just remember, our goal is to serve the people on the other end of the camera. And that means we should think about what's distracting for them. Okay, so we've got some people who are going to move their laptop and lift it up to put it at eye level, which is fantastic. You're going to make some non-finance related videos, which is good. So if you have some compliance considerations, that's a great option. And you're going to practice so that you can get more comfortable. Make sure that you go back and look at that link to go and get Marco Polo. Send me a message. I'll send you one back. And you're going to set up a space to do some video conferencing. I'm so glad because this is amazing. So here's an opening for you to ask some questions. If you haven't asked them already, I think you've all been very good about asking questions, but we have a lot of people on the call. So if there's something that you hoped I would cover, but I haven't yet, put it in here. Let's answer some quick questions. I love that we're going to make a video conferencing corner, Ace. That's awesome. Let's see, what else have we got? Some adjustments to the office layout. That's good. It's always good to have a good place. Perfect. Okay. Well, listen, if you come up with other questions, and Beth, have we had any questions that have come in on Q&A while we're waiting as well? Or have we answered
Only
those
thing I saw very, very early on, Julie, was somebody did ask you to repeat what that webcam app was that I think for Macs or iPhones.
That's webcam settings is the webcam app. So webcam settings is the webcam app for Mac. And what was the other one, Beth?
That was the only one I saw early on. That was it.
Perfect. Okay. Yes. So the question is, am I available to talk to business clients? How do we get in touch with me? So, well, that's perfect. Let me introduce you to this next slide. So on this slide, you've got my email. Yes, I can absolutely talk to clients. I am more than happy to arrange calls. I do a ton of virtual presentations. I can do training on Zoom. I can also do all kinds of technology programs as well as innovation programs. So definitely contact me. I would be more than happy to help. It's funny, you know, there's so many of us that are running a wide array of businesses. I've got a couple of businesses that I run, plus I speak. And, you know, this is such a great time to build amazing community. You've got a QR code down here to be able to go and get some bonus content. I will also record a video. So when you go into that bonus content, if you want me to share with you a video about how to set up meeting rooms in Zoom and to create your own domain to get there, more than happy to do that. Put that in the other. So you'll see there's what kind of bonus content do you want is one of the questions. One of those is an other option. Just put Zoom meeting room as the other, and then I'll know that you want that content, and I'll get that out to you by the end of day tomorrow. If you have other questions that didn't get answered on this webinar or on this virtual presentation, drop me an email. I'm happy to help. It has been such a pleasure to hang out with NAFA Texas again, and I hope that you are all staying safe and staying healthy and staying well and staying connected. Beth, I would love to turn it back over to you, and thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much, Julie, for doing this for NAFA Texas. We appreciate it so much and sharing all of your great ideas. I think I learned some things, and I know the NAFA Texas staff is online, and I'm sure they were taking some notes as well, because we've been talking about a lot of these things as well that we want to implement. And thank you all for joining us. We really want to start implementing more of these great ideas as far as going forward with some of our programming. So any of you guys that are on the call that are on the video meeting that want to have ideas of things that NAFA Texas can start doing, please send me an email, beth@nafa-texas.org. We'd love to start providing content that you guys can use and implement as soon as possible. We love new ideas from our members and anything we can do to help you. By the way, I'm using one of the virtual backgrounds from Zoom, so you kind of get an idea. Because you don't want to see what's behind me. So
Beth, there's just been a couple of questions that have come through chat. Make sure that you're using case sensitive. So make sure you don't have any capitals in the julieholmes.vip NAFA bonus. So just, it should be opening, but if you have problems, drop me an email and I will send you the link directly. Hold on, Beth, let's unmute you. There you go.
Right. So any other questions, you guys can email Julie or email NAFA Texas. And I guess that's it. And we look forward to meeting again soon. Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks. All right.